Or let us say greetings to you this day of your time as you create time to exist. How are you all this evening? Allow us to begin this interaction by laying down a little bit of a foundation between us so there can be some common understanding to take place within this interaction so that the tools we will share with you this day of your time can be applied by each and every one of you in the most efficacious method. Allow us, first of all, to delineate to some degree that the ideas will involve a little bit of what you may call a refresher on the subjects that we have talked about, just to bring you, as you say, up to speed with regard to exactly the approach, exactly the ideas, exactly the tools that we will be discussing. Once everyone is synchronized, then we will begin through meditative technology, shall we say, to allow you to form within your imagination the appropriate approach, the appropriate tool that will be workable for you, applicable for you in your daily physiological life. This is one of the most critical things to understand, that what we are co-creating this day of your time is not simply a matter of philosophy. It is not simply a matter of bandying about different notions that have no bearing on your day-to-day physiological reality. It is not simply a mental exercise for the purpose of getting you to smile all the time, whether you feel like it or not. The idea is to allow you to begin to understand that what we are discussing are actual tools, insofar as we have discussed many times before, that as you believe, so you create, so your physical reality is experienced. Therefore, the strongest understanding, the clearest definition we shall create this night of your time together will be that the changes you will be making in your belief structure, in your approach, in your outlook, in your perspective, will have profound, rapid, immediate impact upon the physiological reality you discover happening in your life. We are talking direct cause and effect, direct physiological, mechanical manifestation. Also, this night of your time, at what you may call the ending of this interaction, we will have a surprise visitor. This will be simply something that is sensed as applicable to the energy this evening of your time, and will not last that long, but simply will be apropos for the scenario, for the atmosphere that will be co-created this day of your time within this particular interaction, since everything is unique. Now let us begin by refreshing your memory of the following ideas. The first phase, which I shall be handling, shall be entitled Persona Reconstruction. And before we begin the meditative tool construction, allow me to remind each and every one of you what we have discussed many times about the idea of what persona is. Some of you may have think, well, I've heard this before. But understand, every moment is new and the first time. Therefore, we will assume that this time there will be one particular facet of what we will be discussing that you will hear as you have never heard it before, for the first time in a new way, in a different way, and it may trigger something within you so that you will have a broader, a more expanded understanding of exactly how to apply these ideas in your life. For that is the primary purpose, the applicability of knowledge in your life. Persona, personality, just to bring you up to date, we have discussed as being something arbitrary, or shall we say, artificially constructed by the consciousness that you are. You have, for many thousands of years, considered the person that you are to be the real you. And we are not saying it is not real. And by saying artificial, we do not mean that it is not natural. But we use those words because they have meanings that are applicable to the way we wish to define personality. You, The you, the true you, the being, the total consciousness, the self-aware consciousness that you are, is in a sense, in your own terminology, grander, more expanded, shall we say simply, bigger than the physiological, representational you that you are here on earth at this time. You can say simply that the person that you are right now is one of the faces, one of the fragments, one, just one, of an infinite number of sections or segments of the total consciousness that you are. One of many projections, one of the many ways that the total you has of expressing itself. You exist, the total you exists on all different levels of creation, all different levels of reality, and in each level of reality, there is another way that is apropos for the total you to express a fragment of itself, or what you would take to be a fragment of the total self. In actuality, this fragment is also the total whole, because the universe is holographically constructed, and that simply means that every single portion contains the information of the total. Your fragment now, your persona now, is a representation of the total whole. But it is presented in a particular style, a particular structure, a particular format that allows itself to experience itself as only a portion of the whole. This is for the purpose of setting up a type of momentum in physical reality that allows you to know you are learning, expanding, changing, growing, and remembering more and more and more of who and what you are. It is your way of creating, of co-creating, along with infinite creation. The idea, therefore, by taking this colloquial approach that you are a fragment of the whole, can be continued in the following way. You, the you are as a physical being, is simply one of the many ways you could be expressing the total self in this reality. Even within any particular level, even within any particular reality, there are many ways to express the self, the total self, the you that you are. You all know that from time to time, your persona changes, goes through shifts and transformation. But the way you are used to thinking of reality allows you to look at this idea in the following way. You say, well, I'm the same person, but this one little thing about me now is different. Now you can look at it that way, and that is a very valid way to assess yourself, a very valid way to look at your reality. However, it is not the only way. There is a polarity view. And the difference in effect between the two views is profound. The first view, once again, simply being, by analogy, the idea that you have one whole thing, and you look at this whole thing as a collection of components, a collection of segmented parts that go into making up the entire thing, the entire persona in this case. And you can say, well, when one of those things, one of those components, my emotions, my thoughts, my beliefs, my attitudes, when one of these things changes, then I am simply the same thing I have always been, the same person I have always been, but this one little thing about me is different. And you can look at it this way. You can say, well, all right, even though I may believe I am a collection of parts, a collection of components, a collection of ideas, I can still understand that I am like unto an equation. And I know that when I take any variable in an equation and change that variable, it really is not the same equation. The total equation is different. It is not the same equation really with a new number. By changing this one number, I have changed the value of the entire equation. In a sense, a persona is an equation. It is a vibrational construct, an artificial temporary presentation, representative of a particular approach at that given moment. It is an equation. And if you change any variable within that equation, you change the whole idea, the whole persona, the whole personality, the whole person. Many of you think that personality is something you have as a person. You do not. Your personality is the person. The person is the personality. In other words, a person is not a solidly fixed thing that has a personality as an expression of itself. A person is the combination of all the things that go into making up what you call the personality. That is why if you change any aspect of your personality, you have changed the person you are. Literally. Not figuratively, not philosophically, literally. You can look at it that way too. And again, the analogy that we have used many times is the analogy of the cube, which has 6 sides. And it is a blue cube. And you decide, all right, I'll paint one of the sides red. Now it is the same blue cube with one red side. And you can say, because one side is different, by definition, it is also a completely new cube. It does not matter that 5 of the sides are similar to the cube that had 6 blue sides. Because this is a cube with 5 blue sides and 1 red one, it does not have to be labeled the same cube at all. It can be viewed as an entirely new equation, an entirely new cube. The difference between these 2 points of view can, on the surface, seem very subtle. But the effect that these 2 different points of view can have in your life is profound. Because it implies the following thing. If you look at yourself as the same thing with a small change, then you change very slowly. You create more time in which many more changes, many more components need to change in order to become what you say you desire to become. But if you allow yourself to understand that if you change any one thing, you have changed everything, then you can make great, as you say, quantum leaps and bounds in the direction you prefer to be moving in. You remove many of the steps that you used to think were necessary to get from one point to another. By allowing yourself to take greater bites, greater leaps, greater gulps of ideas, whole concepts, whole events, rather than, shall we say, partitioning those events into minute details, each and every one of which must change one at a time. Groups of details can be looked at as one collective idea. And if all of that group, that set of details in your equation falls into one particular category, then if you can change anything within that category at all, you have changed all the details within that category. And you can work with larger sets of things and move that much more quickly. Therefore, when you start to now look at yourself as an idea, as a persona construct, you can begin to move much more quickly by realizing that any change you make means you are a different person. No matter how you think you look, I look the same as I did yesterday. You may think so, but you do not really, not completely. No matter how subtle the difference may seem, you are a completely different person. Your exterior continuity is your created illusion. You create the illusion of continuity, that which makes you seem to stay the same physically, so that you can begin to relate to each other as the same basic consciousness. Because you go so heavily on looks, on exterior ideas, you need that continuity in order to know that you're still talking to the same person. As we have said, we are aware that there are civilizations that when they change any aspect of themselves, they change completely, even physically. So that surface-wise, you would not recognize them from one moment to the next. But by feeling their vibration, you would know you are dealing with the same being, the same consciousness, even if you are not dealing with the same person of that consciousness, the same fragment of that consciousness. Here, fragment and person being synonymous. Therefore, each and every one of you can now begin to take the steps necessary to make great changes, quick changes, enormous, impactful changes in your life by altering your perspective of how you view yourself, how you think of yourself into beingness. Begin by recognizing that every single thought, every single emotion, every single belief goes into constructing the persona. As we have said, you are like a prism. Your personality is a three-sided prism. And the analogy is that just like the white light that goes through a prism and is broken down into a diversified spectrum, the type of prism you create with your belief, emotion, and thought patterns, those three sides, will determine how the homogeneous overall you is broken down through and filtered through that prism, and what type of reality is reflected back, what type of diversified spectrum is reflected back to you. Now, let us talk for a moment about the idea of how you perceive your reality. For in coming to terms with what you are as a persona, physiologically, it will help you perhaps to have a more clarified definition of exactly how you function when you do create the ability to perceive physical reality. You say you do this through your senses. All right, fair enough. In a sense, it is actually backwards. You actually create the reality through your senses. You do not actually perceive the reality through your senses. But for now, we will refrain from that idea and stick to the colloquial point of view, because it will assist us in the explanation that we are about to give. Remember, first of all, that many of you for a long time have thought that your senses are the windows to the world through which you perceive all the reality around you. Well, in a sense, yes, windows they are. But as we have said, they're actually more accurately described as filters. For your senses actually filter out 99.9% of reality and only allow you to see the percentage that has to do with what you believe you need to see. Your senses screen far more than they admit. That is what your senses are actually for. To create that discernment and that focus that is then what makes it possible for you to experience a discrete reality, as opposed to allowing your senses to let everything in and then allowing it all to become jumbled up so that you cannot function in physiological reality at all. Now, you as a species are learning how to handle more and more input in more and more levels of your consciousness, and so your screens, your filters, your senses are relaxing to some degree and letting more information in. You are handling this at your own pace, integrating it at your own rate, whatever rate and pace is comfortable for you. But now is the time in this interaction to understand that tools are available to allow you to take greater chunks of that information and be able to handle and process that information without becoming, in your terms, negatively confused about the influx of data. Let us begin by clarifying the definition of what your senses are. For you do not have 5, you do not have 6, you have 7 physical senses. You have an 8th sense, which is a transcendental sense, and we will get to that in a moment. You are already used to discussing the idea of your 5 physical senses: your sight, your hearing, your smell, your taste, your touch. As a society, you have been exploring and playing with the notion for quite some time of what you call a 6th sense, where you ascribe the ideas of psychic phenomena and telepathic communication and ESP and whatever you care to label those ideas. In a sense, the 6th sense is actually not the 6th sense, it is the 7th. The true 6th physical sense can be called orientation, space-time orientation. Colloquially put, this simply means that some of you have the ability, if you are sensitive to this particular faculty within you, to always know where you are and when you are, and always find your way back to where you want to be. You are always good at your sense of direction in space and time. This is a true physiological sense, and it is exhibited by all the animal life upon your planet, and is inherent in what you call their instinctive homing instinct. You all have it. Now, some of you actually have polarity abilities with this sense. In other words, you get lost all the time, don't know where or when you are all the time, are always confused about your orientation. To some degree, this is still using the sense, but it is a type of polarity relationship. Does not mean that the sense is not functioning. It simply means that you are reading it in a different way and reacting to it in an opposite way from what you are actually sensing. It is similar to what many of you have called negative prediction in that way. Where you feel that one thing will happen and exactly the opposite does. And you're always right. No matter how many times you think this will happen, exactly the opposite does, and you've never missed it. But the idea is simply tied up with regard to the spatial sensing, the orientation sensing, in mostly your sinus cavities, where there is a large degree of a substance called magnetite. And it does act to some degree like a compass for you, magnetically aligned to your planet's electromagnetic field, to allow you a sense of spatial and time orientation. What you have called the sixth sense is actually the seventh physical sense, and it can be called vibrational electromagnetic discernment. This idea, again, colloquially put in your language, has been what you have always termed as vibes. The vibes are good, the vibes are bad, the vibes are this, the vibes are that. You get an innate sense of the vibration of a person, of a situation, of a circumstance, of an animal, and you know, especially in animals, that they gain that vibrational sense from you. You do radiate an electromagnetic frequency, what is colloquially called your auric band, your aura field. But it extends far beyond your body, but not in ways that are easily measurable by your technology. Up close, in what you call your immediate personal space bubble, it is very strongly felt. And all of you that care to pay attention to it have always known that as soon as you are in the proximity of another being or a situation, you always have a sense, one way or another, of exactly where they stand relative to where you stand. Now, your estimation, analytically speaking, of what that stand may be, is not always necessarily true of what they perceive it to be, but you sense something nonetheless, vibrationally speaking. And this sense is basically located in every single cell of your body through electromagnetic alignment. Although the great activators, the great coordinators of the information your cellular antennas are picking up are in what you call the glandular systems, especially the glandular systems of the brain, especially the pineal gland. These are the organizers that make sense out of what your cellular antennas are electromagnetically receiving of the vibrations of all around you in your physical reality. The eighth sense is simply the transcendental sense of knowingness, direct, non-physical knowingness. There are simply times when, without any benefit of any physiological sense whatsoever, you simply know something to be so. It is a gestalt recognition. So, understand, first of all, that in this clarification, we are pointing out that even as a physiological being, you have a few more components than you have previously assumed that you had. With this understanding that you are a seven-sensory being, physically speaking, we can begin to further delineate what you are as a persona, and you can begin to apply the tools we will share with you in a more direct and more precise method of understanding. Now, at this timing, we would ask that each and every one of you become comfortable in your own way. Whether sitting, whether standing, whether laying down, does not matter. Whether eyes closed, whether eyes open, does not matter. And we remind you of the following things before we begin this particular meditative tool, construction. Everything, anything that you perceive in your physical environment during this exercise is a part of the exercise. That which you may in the past have termed a distraction is no longer a distraction. It belongs. Whether it is a sound or a feeling, a noise, it does not matter what it is. It belongs. Let it in as a part of the exercise. The more you let in what is going on around you, the deeper towards the center of your being you will go. The deeper towards the center of your being you go, the easier it will be to reconstruct your persona in any way, shape, or form you so desire. Let everything in. Let it in. Let it continue to chatter, knowing that the chattering is a part of the process. The more you include it, the quieter it will eventually become. Validate all portions of yourself that you discover in this exercise. Accept it. Acknowledge it. Invite it. Accept it. Integrate it. 4 steps. Acknowledge, invite, accept, and integrate. This will take you deeper and deeper and deeper to the center of your being. Anything that pops up, do not deny it. Denial is what causes all dis-ease, all strife, and all struggle. Deny nothing of yourself. No portion that you have created yourself to be. Deny nothing of it. Do not deny your denial. Allow all emotions to come up, all perspective. It doesn't matter whether it is positive or negative of yourself or of others at the moment. Observe it. Observe it. Acknowledge it. Invite it. Accept it. And integrate it by doing so. As you continue to breathe in a relaxed way, allow sensations of physical reality, allow sensations of electromagnetic reality to wash through you, around you, over you, under you. Allow yourself to begin in your imagination in any way, shape, or form that works best for you. Whether you picture it or feel it does not matter. Allow your imagination now to create the following scene. Imagine stretched out to infinity the surface of a magnificent, clear, blue-white, undulating sea of liquid light. Everywhere you look, all around, as you bob on the surface of this ocean, the sea stretches to the horizon, to infinity. There is no end to it. And you are a crystal bobbing up and down in the surface of the sea. One point on one end is pointed toward the sky. The other point is pointed down to the depths of the ocean. And exactly at your midpoint does the surface of the ocean bisect you and wrap around you. And you are bobbing gently in the waves, up and down, around, back and forth. Gently, gently, relaxed and enjoying this place of peace, this place of centered beingness. And as you look around as a crystal, as your crystalline consciousness takes stock of its surroundings, you cast your attention skyward. And you notice that the sky is a lighter shade of this electric blue, and it stretches to infinity. It is a dome all around you, as far as you can perceive, stretching and stretching and stretching to infinity, until it dissolves into the blue-black depths of infinite space, filled with crystalline stars. And now you shift your attention back to the surface, which stretches out all around you, and it shimmers and sparkles with the light that comes from the sky, and the light of all the crystalline stars. And now you shift your attention downward into the depths of the sea, and it is infinite in depth, infinite in volume, rich and deep and eternal. And as you extend your consciousness further and further and further, it becomes the rich, dark, velvet, violet, deep, purple, blue, black hues of infinite depth and meaning. A richness of creativity, an infinite well from which to draw sustenance forever. And you bring your consciousness back to the surface, and you feel simultaneously the infinity of the plain all around you of the surface of the sea, the infinity of the dome above you that stretches on forever, the infinity of the depth below you. You feel all three simultaneously, and you know you are at the center of all these things. And you now begin to realize, fully realize, in whatever way, shape, or form makes the best sense to you, you now begin to fully realize it does not matter where you are in this sea. You could be anywhere in this sea, and you would still be at the center because it is infinite in all directions. There is no way to tell if you are halfway to some place, a quarter of the way to some goal. A quarter of the way to infinity is still infinity. You are still at the center. It is infinity behind you, infinity before you, infinity on all sides and above and below you. No matter how far you move, there is still infinity around you. So relax. Relax at the place you are, because the place you are is the center of all these things that create your reality. All of it. All of it. All of it. And as you begin to realize that exactly, precisely where you are is the perfect place to be, you feel your crystalline form beginning to dissolve. And it dissolves onto the surface like a thin film of crystal, onto the surface of the sea, radiating out in a gigantic disk, until it stretches to the horizon, on to infinity, across the entire sparkling surface of the sea. You now cover the entire surface, even though the surface is infinite. You also stretch across that surface to infinity. And as you stretch across the surface, every single wave on the surface of the sea now takes place within you. Every single point on the surface of the sea now exists within you. And as you float, covering the entire expanse of the surface of the sea, the light from the infinite sky shines down upon you and begins to uplift certain molecules until you rise like steam into the air, evaporating into the infinite sky until you fill the infinite volume above the surface of the sea. And every point in that infinite sky is now within you. Every light in the infinite space is now within you. And as you marvel at this and feel the gratitude of your expansiveness, you realize that this gratitude, this centering, this anchoring, this stabilization is allowing particles of your being to sink from the surface down, down, and down into the very dark, rich depths of the infinite sea, until you fill the entire volume of the infinite sea, until every point within that sea is within you, until all life within that sea is within you. Just as all life on the surface and all life in the sky and in space is within you. And you are the infinite volume. You are the infinite sky, the infinite depth, the infinite surface. You are the infinite space, the infinite time. And you feel the expansiveness, and at the same time you feel the warm comfort, the cool clarity of understanding that you are always at the center, no matter where your perspective comes from, and that you will always be connected to the infinite volume, that you are always an extension of it, that it is always an extension of you. And it radiates love. And you radiate love. And you identify with a dynamic, loving, self-aware existence that you call the creation. Dynamic existence. Dynamically transformational existence. That is creation. Creation implies something made within time. Dynamic, transformational existence is all that is. beyond the concept even of creation, which implies limitation in space and time. You are a dynamically transforming existence, self-aware, a consciousness, consciousness itself. And now with this knowledge that everywhere is the center and that anywhere is the perfect place for you, you allow yourself to collapse back to the crystalline form, back to the center. And as you do so, as soon as you hit the center, a shock wave goes out, a bubble of light, crystallizing the entire volume around you, so that you know you are one titanic crystal of self-aware consciousness. The patterns are now laid out. The paths are now clear. The paths and the avenues radiate from you in crystalline clarity, in absolute precision. All the details are automatically in place and support all the other details. Nothing needs to be moved. Everything fits exactly where it is. You are one superconductive electromagnetic crystal. All that is. You can move in any direction at any speed. You will always be stable because you will always be at the center. And yet, all of creation will dynamically transform around the center you are always at. Be conductive. Know that your persona is a malleable thing. It is a tool in and of itself. What you think of as your persona is something that you have channeled. You are always channeling an idea into physical materiality. Anytime you change the idea, you change that persona, you change that reality. They are all real and they are all valid. The belief is the blueprint. The emotions are the builders. The thought patterns are the materials that the builders use. Clarify the blueprint. Be sure that the blueprint of your reality is precisely what you want it to be. Be sure that the builders act precisely the way you desire them to build. Be sure that the thought patterns, the materials that they have to use, are precisely the materials you want the reality built from. Be clear. Be crystalline. Be precise. Be ecstatic. Because all these things are within you. You have all the tools, the complete kit. You are the kit itself. There is nothing outside of you that you need to search for. It is all within. All of it. Feel the beat, feel the pulse of the one single crystal. Breathe into it. Breathe as it now in a slow and relaxed pulse. Beat, beat, beat. Letting everything in, leaving nothing out, denying the existence of nothing. Observing it all. Acknowledging it all. Inviting it all. Accepting it all. And integrating it all. It is you. You are it. You are anything. You are anyone you desire to be. And when you have created yourself anew, at any moment, at every moment, you are a completely newborn person. And you decide at that moment who and what you are. And you decide at that moment what is true for you, while at the same time you acknowledge that all other decisions of all other beings are true and valid for them, equal to your own truth. And you decide what memories shall be real for you. You decide what ideas of the past are the ones that will actually have built the adult that you are now. You decide. You decide. You decide. You can remember anything you may care to call a memory, of anything you may care to call a past. Just remembering it doesn't mean that it has to pertain to the you are now. You can choose and create which past memories are responsible for the you decide to be now, if you even need to do it that way. But whomever you decide you are, you are. Have the conviction and the clarity to act as such. And your reality will be a reflection of that light, of that conviction, of that trust. Breathe 3 times and lock it in. It is who and what you are, all of it. You can be any of it because you are all of it. Collect yourself and focus yourself and open your eyes. And remember, what you are calling a room, what you are calling other people, are not the same people, is not the same room it was before, regardless of what you may call similarity. You are in a new room. You are surrounded by new people. You are a new person. You are on a new earth. Take me literally. This is another earth, a parallel reality, one far more crystally representative of the reality you say you prefer. Any memory of an old earth is now a specter. You can retain the memory, but it no longer pertains to the person you are now. You are on a new earth. You are a new earth. Know that and act accordingly. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Take a moment and stand and stretch your new body. Try it on as a new suit of clothing. It is not the same body. You are not the same you. Stretch all the way out. Twist and turn. And feel lightness and joy at the new idea. No matter how similar it seems to what you call the old you, it is not. It is not. It is not. You can prove to yourself it is not by acting as if it is not. And in acting as if it is not, your life will show you that you are a new you, because you will have the life of someone else, other than who you used to be. You may sit down again if you wish. One of the strongest ways to reconstruct your persona, because you are such physiologically oriented beings, is to physicalize your dreams and physicalize your imagination to the fullest extent you can. This means literally that if you have a specific notion, if you have a specific dream, then go to what creative and enjoyable lengths you can go to to create a physical, symbolic representation of the props that would represent the reality you want, and surround yourself in your life with the scenario you want to be in, with the props that you say will be in the reality of the new you. Act it out. Powerful, powerful tool. Act it out physically. If you believe that you are the idea of manager of multi-million-dollar corporation, then surround yourself with the props that would be in that reality to the best that you can. It does not matter immediately if those props are the real desks and chairs. If it is the real office, make it so in your imagination. Do the best you can. Get as close as you can. But surround yourself with the closest representations of the actual scenario and the actual props that you can. Get used to existing in that environment. Start to relate to the props in the way you would relate to them if you were that corporate executive or whatever you desire to be. Surround yourself with the environment. Create a complete simulation. And soon, as you begin to take on the coloration, the vibration of that environment, as you begin to change your persona frequency, all of those temporary props will begin to be replaced by the real props, the real physical symbols, the real physical objects that you believe are truly representative of that reality. At whatever rate you believe you are becoming that person will be the rate that the temporary placeholder props are replaced by the solid manifestations of that reality. Act it out. Be bold. Have the conviction. Have the imagination. Have the ability to play. That is crucial. Act it out. Do the things that that person would do. Do not do the things that person would not do. Allow yourself to be assisted, if you wish, by friends. It does not necessarily matter, but it will provide a higher degree of feedback. Play the scenario out like the characters on a stage. Because you are on a stage, and all the things that surround you now are only props anyway. They can be any prop you really want them to be. One prop does not have any more inherent capability of sticking around in your life than any other prop. Allow them all to be equal, but be precise about the ones you want. And, very important, be clear, once again, within your definitions as to why you want those props in your life. As to why you want to do the thing you say you want to do. Be clear that that is truly representative of what excites you the most. With integrity. Then if it is the precise reflection of what you want, act it out to the best of your ability. Paint the pictures, build the props, rent the props, occupy the space that represents the space you want to occupy when the person who occupies that space normally is no longer there. Perhaps they will let you use it. So that you can get used to knowing what it feels like to be in that space. To use the example again of corporate executive. Go to the 25th floor and see what it feels like to look out the window of your domain. Know what that feels like. The sooner you know what that feels like, the sooner you know what the environment you desire feels like, the easier you will be able to attract it. Because you will be used to it already, and it will slide into you. You will slide into it. There will be no big barriers to overcome. No difficult things to get used to. once it actually comes and lands in your face. You will have already smoothed much of the path out by getting used to the idea beforehand, by acting it through, by acting it out. This is a very powerful tool. It works. Use it. The stronger you act it out, the more you become involved in the scenario, the stronger and more quickly it will come to you. The more precisely you act it out, the more precisely it will manifest. Know that what you are doing is not simply faking it. You are truly training the real reality. You are training yourself to cue off of the vibrations of the reality you want. You are redesigning the vibrational equation of your persona by exposing it to new things that are more representative of the reality you want. You are retraining the habits of your persona. It is your construct. It is your painting. Train it. Design it in any way you want. Since it is a design of sensory feedback, since it keys so heavily on physical reality feedback, give it the physical feedback that will allow it to change in the easiest possible way. If it wants to see a carrot, show it a carrot. Let it know what it is like to handle the carrot. Let it know what it is like to be the executive by seeing and exposing itself to the things of that executive. To be the great healer by exposing it to the things that the great healer would use. Anything, any definition, any career, anything that excites you, any idea. Expose it to those things. Retrain it. Redesign it. Let that reality rub off. It is a lot of fun, and the more fun you have with it, the more excited you are about the acting through itself, the more excited you become about setting up the stage and surrounding yourself with those props, the more you accelerate your vibrational ability to receive that solidified, manifested reality. So get excited about it. Do not make this a chore. Do not make this a task. Play at it. Really enjoy it. Because if that were the real scenario you say you're excited about, you would be excited by being in it. Anything that comes up that seems to be difficult about handling that excitement, deal with it. Don't deny it. Observe it. Acknowledge it. Invite it. Accept it. Integrate it. And you will go through anything you call a block as if it were not there. Everything will become transparent. Everything that comes up will simply be a new, exciting challenge to absorb. So that you will become expanded by having absorbed it. Absorb the idea by living the idea as best as you can with your full imagination. Act it out. Physically, act it out. I guarantee you'll see the results quickly, rapidly, but only as quickly as you can handle. But you will get the results. So act it out. Close your eye. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. As easily as that, you have literally created 3 new parallel realities. Every time you blink, you open your eyes on a new world. Every blink is a complete reassessment and a redefinition of who and what you are as a persona construction. Every time your eyes open, you are looking onto the manifestation, the representation, the echo of the new vibration that you created yourself to be with the blink. It is that easy to create whole universes because you do it all the time. All the time. It is so automatic, you don't even know you're doing it. That's how easy it is to get the reality you desire. And here is another formula. Some of you have heard this formula before. It does not matter how you apply it. It is simply one more thought, one more idea, one more tool you can use. It is also very powerful. It will depend on how you apply it, but it is also very powerful. Some of you may be familiar with it, but we will share it with you again. How you use this will be up to you. At this moment, make a decision. Everything that you do not specifically forbid from happening will happen. Everything. Allow yourself to decide whether you can handle that concept. Because you will get everything you do not forbid. Allow yourself also not to worry about the idea that, oh, maybe I didn't catch everything. Maybe I forgot to forbid this and that will happen too. Do not worry about it. Your consciousness knows what it is doing. Start trusting that. And start relaxing into the understanding that what you desire in life is your right to experience. But it is also your ability to create it. And it is up to you to create it. To use your tools. To use the consciousness that you are. Because your reality is created from the consciousness that you are. It is made out of the consciousness that you are. Redefine the consciousness that you are and you will get the reality you want. Physical reality that you want. I guarantee it. You do not have to take my word for it. In fact, I do not want you to take my word for it. I want you to prove it to yourself by acting, by using these tools and seeing the difference in your life. I guarantee 100% it will work. There are no exceptions. None of you cannot use these tools because all of you have already used these tools. We are simply reminding you of the fact that you have always used these tools, and we are simply suggesting ways in which you can use these tools consciously so that you can be aware of the reality you are creating, so you can create the reality you want. It is that simple. It is that simple. It is that simple. Every time I say it is that simple, pay attention to the dialogue that may or may not be going on within yourself and see whether you have a dialogue that is responding in the following way. Every time I say it is that simple, yeah, sure. It is that simple. Nice thought. It is that simple. All right, well, maybe. It is that simple. Yeah, so. It is that simple. It's just the sound I'm hearing. It's just words. It is that simple. Wait a minute. Maybe he means it really is that simple. It really is that simple. Could he really, actually, literally mean it's really that easy? No, he must mean something else. There must be more to it than that. It is that simple. Oh my, oh my. Wait a minute. I maybe, just maybe, starting to get excited that he actually means what he's saying. I feel doubts coming in. I have been told things are easy before and they haven't been. I feel doubts coming in. It is that simple. What if I try it again? What if I fail? It is that simple. Maybe he means it, but maybe I should be cautious. Maybe I should be careful. I don't know. It is that simple. But it's up to you to decide whether you believe it or not. What we are guaranteeing is that as soon as you do believe it is that simple, it will be that simple. Nothing will get in your way. Because there is nothing that can get in your way. Because you are everything in your way. Everything you come across in life is made of your consciousness. Therefore, the only thing that can ever be in your way is you. And things being in your way doesn't mean they are blocking you. It simply means that everything on your path is made of you, that your path is you, that you are your path. Everything you experience is an aspect of you, a reflection of you. It is that simple. You're doing it all the time. All the time. Blink and look upon a new reality. Blink and look upon another. What you are learning now is how to apply the tools so that when you blink, you open your eyes on the reality you prefer. Take as many blinks as you want. Take as few blinks as you want. It's still your creation, and you cannot deny nor run away from that. But the joy and the ecstasy of that awareness is that you can do anything you want to with it, because you are completely responsible for everything in it. It is as simple as that. Now, give a moment for an exchange of consciousness. We will address you once again towards the end of this interaction, but for now, we will turn it over to a counterpart and a friend.
We give you greetings this day of your time. And we would remind you that we are here to discuss the idea of excitement and abundance in your life. We will tell you first of all that we will commence with one half of this idea and allow you to refresh yourselves with a break halfway through. We will then pick up the idea and discuss the notions of abundance which exist in your life. But first, let us discuss excitement. Let us discuss the idea of what it means to play. This is critical in the creation of the reality that you desire. To learn to remember how to play. Because all your reality is the product of the creations that you create in play. Of your dynamic existence, of your transformations in play. The aspect of you that knows how to play is called the child. And you are going to learn to be children right now. To nurture yourselves as children. To remember the children you are. Not the children you were, the children you are. So take 3 deep breaths. And close your eyes. And drift to your place of perfect centering. And we are all going to play in the following way. On a bright and sunny or moonlit day, it does not matter. You are going to recall all that you are as a child. Envision in your imagination now a beautiful hill with trees and flowers and grass, and you are standing on that hill, but you are a child between 3 and 7 years of age. And you look all around down the slope of the hill, and below you on all sides is an infinite meadow of lush green grass and trees. And light from the sun and light from the moon shines down upon this infinite lush green meadow of your youth. You are a child, and you feel the exuberance and the excitement of being in this meadow. Of being where you are right now. For where you are is the most beautiful place you can imagine being. And you are surrounded immersed in this beautiful meadow. This meadow of promise. This meadow of 1,000 discoveries. This is no analogy. This is your life. It is lush and rich with promise. The promise of just starting out, taking the first steps. As a child knows, every step is its first step in a new, rich, green, moist meadow of being. To one side of you is another child of the same sex. To the other side of you is another child of the opposite sex. And you reach out your childlike hands in friendship. And your hands on the left and your hands on the right are taken by the children on either side of you. And you hold each other's hands. And you feel the joy of childhood flowing through you. And you cannot contain your excitement at having playmates and friends and such a wonderful meadow to play in. And you go rolling and running and tumbling down the hill. And all the grass and the leaves are kicked up by you and are tossed into the air. And you are laughing and crying and sharing and screaming and yelling. And you also feel the quietness of the solitude as you roll down the hill. And the refreshment of the green grass. And you roll and you run through the meadow. And there is no end to this. And there is no structure to this. And there is no schedule to this. You are alive. You are life itself, as every child knows. You are your own mother. You are your own father. You are your own daughter. You are your own son. You are your own child. You are your own parent. You are your own family. You are the child you always desired to be. Right now, you are that child. You have always been that child. Spontaneous, effervescent, laughing, touching, feeling, playing, sharing, feeling. In your heart, in your stomach, in your solar plexus, in your legs, in your arms, in your head, in your neck, in your throat, your tongue, in your teeth, in your eyes, in your nose, in your ears, in your hair. You are that child. Every cell, every atom is the child. And now the three of you, you and your playmates, form a ring, form a circle, form a triad. And you dance and you play and you sing a song of joy and a song of conviction of the child that you are. And you shout it to the heavens and you shout it to the earth. And you sing and you rhyme and you are the earth's poet. You are the earth's paintbrushes. You are the earth's colors. You are the earth's tools for experiencing the ecstasy of the birth of its own childhood. You are the child you always wanted to be. Forever, 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 forever. Breathe forever. Breathe. Literally, breathe foreverness. Eternity. You are the child. Breathe it, run it, play it, enjoy it. Drink it deeply. You are the child. Love it, caress it, hold it, nurture it, embrace it. You are the child. And you are the feminine aspect of nurturing. You are the feminine aspect of receptivity. And you are the masculine aspect of assertiveness. You are the masculine aspect of assuredness and conviction. And you are feminine conviction. And you are masculine receptivity. You are blended. You are one. You are a child. You are an adult. You are all that you can be. You are all the toys you need. Your toy box is full of many toys, many tools. Pull them out. Scatter them in the field. Scatter them to the sky. Scatter them to the ground. Pick them all up. Scatter them again. They are treasures of your creativity. Treasures of your beingness. You are magnetic. Feel the dizziness of the merry-go-round and the fairground of the childhood of your life. Around and around and around and up and down. On and on and on. You are becoming lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. Spinning in play. Spinning in joy. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Weaving the web of your childhood. Weaving the foundation of the adulthood to come. So that the adult you will become will be the product of the child you are now. No matter what childhood you think you had, you are a new childhood now. Design it in the sandbox of your reality. Build a castle that will stand forever in your imagination and your being. Build those castles now, in the air, on the ground. They are real. They have substance. They are not trickery. No one will kick them apart. And feel your own tears of being, tears of gratitude, tears of joy that are the communion and the prayers and the connections to the infinite. And know that the infinite takes delight, that the infinite takes delight in perceiving the child, the creator child, the dynamic child you are right now. You delight all of creation with your creativity. Spin your tales, spin your stories as a child, full of life, full of conviction, step after step. No quandary, no worrying, no doubts. Floating on clouds, floating in water, moving, moving, creating a web, creating a tapestry. Float, run, play, jump, yell, scream, enjoy, cry. Feel to the utter depths of your being. Feel to the other heights of your being. Feel the radiance all around. It is yours forever. It is your gift. Treasure it. It is your treasure. Share it. You are a child of infinity. Love as the light that you are. Feel the magnetic waves and waves and waves and waves and waves of the children playing as one child. You are the one child of creation. You are a birth out of love and light. Refresh yourself as the waves upon the shore. Refresh yourself. Breathe now. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, a new reality. New playmates. New lives. New loves. New children. Breathe. Reel in the giddiness, the headiness, the richness, the fertility of life, the fertility of your being. You are a womb of creation, giving birth to a new child. You are the child you always wanted to be. Right now, you are that child forever. It never ends. It never ends. It never ends. It only changes, but always in wail of childlike fascination. Always. Always. Observe. Invite. Accept. Allow yourself to know what a child knows, to acknowledge what a child acknowledges, to accept what a child accepts, to integrate what a child integrates, to love what a child loves, to excite yourself because every moment is the playground of new discovery, new challenge, new growth, new life. Love as a child loves, unconditionally, forever. Wave after wave of love. Breathe 3 times and lock the love in. Lock the child within you and free the child within you. You are a child of the universe. Open your eyes and see with the eyes of a child. Everything is new. Everything is bold. Everything is painted in rich and bright colors. Feel the child you are that loves all other children, all other adults, all realities, all beings, that loves itself as it loves the light. You are children anew. Refresh yourself. And in your break, play as children play. Release as children release. We will reconvene with the idea of finding your abundance of self and blending your polarity of beingness. For now, laugh as children laugh. Feel the joy, tickle yourselves, and feel the glee of release. Use this time of your break to create in your imagination the scenarios you will create, that you will act out, that you will manifest. Create the sandboxes in which you will play. Create the props that you will build. Design the reality you will create from this moment forward. Indulge yourselves. Enjoy the selves that you are. This is your exercise for break time. Enjoy the children and the selves you are. We will commence and reconnect in approximately 10 to 15 of your minutes of counting. Until then, it is recess. Allow us to continue in the following manner. Now that we have discussed the idea of awakening the child that you are, now that you have allowed yourself to begin to experience the release of that energy, and now that you can begin to imagine allowing that energy out on a day-to-day basis, applying it to your circumstances and situations, allow us to discuss another level of intimacy, so that you can be in touch with the idea of all the abundance and richness of treasures within each and every one of you, so that you will all know that everything you want is accessible to you because you already contain it. We have discussed the idea of the child. Now that you have engineered and begun to design the idea of the childhood you prefer, allow us to remind you now and to design with you the idea of the adult that is the result of that child that you have now created. No matter what childhood you think you had, no matter what you think did or did not happen in that childhood is not necessarily any longer what led to the adult that you can design yourself to be now. You have now designed a new childhood, and you can allow that new childhood to be what progresses into the adult you can define yourself to be at present. You can begin to find a new understanding of intimacy within yourself, and in the blending of the polarities of your male and female aspects, and in the allowance of that new marriage and that new intimacy within yourselves, you can begin to discover the rich treasure that you are. And you can begin to discover how to manifest that treasure in any number of ways in your life, physiologically. Begin by once again allowing your eyelids to flutter into a dreamlike sleep. Close them. Relax them. Relax your bodily form. And allow yourself to drift to your centered place of peace once again. Take with you to that place of centered peace the happiness that you felt as the child, the lightness of being, the joy of being, the simplicity of being. And while retaining that simplicity of being, see yourself now standing approximately 10 feet in front of yourself, the body that is representative of the facet, the fragment, the persona that you are. See that body standing approximately 10 feet from yourself. And explore the idea of that body presentation, of that body consciousness. Explore the idea of the spirit that you are as it manifests itself in that bodily form. Walk over to that body. Know that it is conscious. Know that it is alive. But for now, simply allow that it will observe you. As you observe it, walk all the way around that body. Observe it from every angle you can observe it from. Relate to it. Acknowledge it. Observe it from above. Observe it from below. Float above the body and look down. Float underneath the body and look up. All angles in space and time. See the body as it grew from the new childhood into the present idea. See the present idea as the result of the new childhood you have created, not the result of the old childhood or aspects of the old childhood you no longer prefer. See the body that you are, the consciousness that you are, as the result of the joyful childhood, so that you are now a joyful adult. Go back to your starting position, still seeing the reflection of your body consciousness standing approximately 10 of your feet in front of you. Observe that body, observe those eyes, observing you back. And see the love in the reflection of your eyes, as those eyes observe you. Allow that body now to come to you and walk all around you. Allow that body to observe you in any way, shape, or form it cares to, because it is looking upon you with love as you return that love, and now you have the opposite point of view. You now know that you are the body being observed. You now know you are the result of that childhood. You now know you are the idealized, new crystallized, loving body state consciousness. Watch as the other body floats above and looks down, floats below and looks above, and observes you from every angle and goes back to its starting point 10 feet from you. And now, allow yourself to feel the magnetic attraction between you. And acknowledge that you will now walk towards each other to a place in the center approximately 5 feet from both of you. And with each step you take, closer and closer to that center point, you send wave upon wave of acknowledgement and love and forgiveness for anything that you believe was a negative idea that was chosen by that body in the past. Forgiveness and acceptance, acknowledgement, invitation, and integration. You walk and you open your arms towards your own reflection, and as you meet in the center, you embrace and you hug with love and assurance that all is well, that all is one, that all is a reflection of all else. And as you embrace and as you feel the love, you feel your hearts pressing together and the hearts beat as one, as one, as one. And you melt into each other's arms, embracing and loving and forgiving your reflection, and feeling the self-worth and the love coming back from your own reflection, feeling the deservability in the exchange of love, of self. And as you hold each other, you move closer and closer still until you blend and melt into each other and become one whole idea. And as you become one whole idea, you turn and you look, and 10 feet from you is another body, but not one like before. This one now has the appearance of your sexual opposite. This now body looks as if you would have appeared had you been born your sexual opposite. If you are female, this body now appears to be the way you would have appeared had you been born male. If you are male, this body now appears the way you would have appeared had you been born a female. It is your identical twin, but a sexual opposite. And you walk toward that body as it stands still for you, observing you with wise eyes, with knowing eyes, even if you observe it with wise eyes, knowing eyes. And you walk all around that sexual opposite, that mirror reflection, that polarity being. And you observe from all angles, and you acknowledge it, and get used to it, and familiarize yourself with that polarity, and float above and look down, and float below and look up. And you orbit around, and you acknowledge all the differences, and you acknowledge all the similarities. And you observe that body observing you. And you go back to your starting point 10 feet away, and you invite your polarity reflection to come up to you and allow it to move all around you and observe you in like kind, in like manner. And you radiate love, and you radiate allowance, and you radiate acceptance of self in this polarity format. And you allow it to observe you from all directions and to go back to its starting point 10 feet from you. And with your eyes and with your hearts, you send each other a signal that it is all right to approach the central point 5 feet in the middle. And with each step you take, you may feel a few apprehensions and a few fears come up, but you observe them and you acknowledge them and you invite them and you accept them and you integrate them and you forgive all transgressions of the polarity. You forgive all transgressions of negativity. You forgive all choices because they have been usable to you. And as you approach the center, you open your arms wide and you embrace and you cry and you share and you release upon each other's shoulders and you forgive. And you accept the power of the polarity, the male and the female and the male. And you feel your chests pressing together and your heartbeat beating, vibrating as one. As one, as one, as one, as one. And you float in your embrace in a dreamlike state as you dance, as you dance, as you dance. And you hold each other closer and closer, and you blend and merge as one, and you marry each other and become one heart, one mind, one body, one spirit, one soul, one being, one love, one single, blended, homogeneous, loving, ecstatic light. And as you blend, you see yourself radiating a brilliant white light that shines like a beacon, that shines like a lamp, that shines like a candle, and radiates out like a bubble, and dispels all shadows, all darkness, all doubt. And you are loved and loving, and you are fulfilled and fulfilling. You are radiant light and radiant love. You are the marriage of the infinite. Dance and spin in magnetic joy as electromagnetic light. Dance. Create your own music and dance as one. Spinning over the crystalline surface of your new reality. And as you spin as one marriage, as one idea, as you throw off light, the light that you throw off crystallizes into new children, new ideas, new creations, new abundance, infinite treasures that you contain, and you display them all before you. And you are rich with promise, infinite in being, eternal in scope. There is no end to your creativity. There never will be. You draw from the depths of eternity and give birth to the children of light, the children of love. You are those children. Nurture yourself and feel yourself wrapped in the arms of creation and sent wave after wave of warmth and love. You are the womb of your own birth. You are the marriage of forever. Breathe now, breathe now, breathe the marriage, breathe the light. Deeply drink of these ideas. Deeply drink of this life. Breathe it. As you breathe in, you are the crucible, your heart on fire with desire for all manifestation and abundance and joy and ecstasy. As you breathe in, the fire and the crucible of your heart melts down all old reality into liquid light. And as you breathe out, you use that liquid and spin off the light and crystallize the new children, the new reality, the new life. You are the forge. You are the crucible. You are the fire, the seed of desire and manifestation itself. You are born anew, pure and clear, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Our love, our blessings to you all. Blink and open your eyes and feel free and light and enlightened. You are made of new stuff. You are no longer as dense. You are spinning more freely with less friction. You are radiant light. Our love to you all. You are transformation, dynamic transformation. And transformation now. One moment.
Change. You are ancient. We are ancient. You are old. We are old. You are eternal. We are eternal. You are one. We are one. Allow yourself the projection of linear time. Back, 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 as far as your imagination can go. Wave after wave of linear time. Project, project, project. Now in your imagination. Now in the center of the crystal that you are. Now in the time in which you exist. In the here and the now. Project, project. Into the idea you have called the past. Into the idea you have called the future. Project as far, as fast as you can go. You are a beam of light in both directions simultaneously. Into the future, into the past. You are now a burst of light simultaneously. All dimensions, all directions, project, project. Beams of light racing as fast as you can imagine it is possible to race. In all directions, project, project. Faster and faster, farther and farther, as fast and as far as you can go. Imagine a factor of 10, a factor of 1,000, a factor of 1,000,000, farther and farther, and yet, there is never, never, never an end. Never, never, never a beginning. Only all that is, and the center of all that is, where you are. You are ancient. We are ancient. You are eternal. We are eternal. You are the fabric of consciousness. You are the dreams of God, dreaming itself in all the ways it can possibly dream itself to be. You are the canvas. You are the paint. You are the book. You are the ink. You are the printed word and the idea. You are the press, and you read yourselves and create the stories of your lives, the stories of your beings, and create the libraries of your existences. the libraries of your world that can be read by consciousness anywhere, everywhen. You are storehouses of knowledge. You are creators of knowledge. You are imprinters of patterns upon the records of space and time, upon the records of existence itself. You are readable. You are creators, dynamic, existence, transformational, creators. You are expansive. Your body does not contain your spirit. Your body does not contain your consciousness. Consciousness contains all the concepts of your body, all the concepts of your persona. You are projections of your spirit, manifestations of your spirit, manifestations of your consciousness. You are expansive. You are focused. You are polarized. You are one. You are limited and unlimited. You are day and you are night. You are not this or that. You are this and that. You are all that you can imagine yourself to be. You are everything you are capable of conceiving. You can forget. You can remember. You can live. You can pretend to die. But you do not die. You never die. You always exist. Blink and create new universal reality. For you are the fabric of existence. You are the fabric of consciousness itself. You are always walking through new doors, and the doors are infinite in all directions. You ride the waves of space and time, even as you create them before you, even as you create them within you, even as you create them behind you. You are them, and they are you. You are waves upon wave of idea, interacting, intersecting, all one, giving form and expression to itself, giving truth and validity to itself, supporting itself, being itself, existing as itself in all the ways that it can. This is how we see you. This is how we see us and all dimensions and levels of being. You are light. Close your eyes now and absorb 3 of your breaths. Create the scenario around you as follows. You are on a bench of your own design, sitting on a street of your own design, surrounded by trees of your own design, observing a building across the street of your own design, and you observe windows through which you can see many beings in the building going about their business, focused in their own way, doing things of their own design, following their own stories, reading the books that they are. And you desire, with your curiosity and your fascination, to know what they are doing, to share and enjoy, to absorb and to learn. And so you create, you manifest a telescope of your own design, a binocular of your own design, a looking glass of your own design, and you hold it up to your eye, so that within there is a magnification of the image of a window, of a room, of the building across your street. And as you peer, you are fascinated, and you follow the comings and the goings of many of the beings in the buildings as they go about their business. And you lower the telescope, you lower the glass from time to time, so that you can gain perspective of where you are and where they are, but so that you can know that at any moment, according to your own timing and your own desire, you can raise the glass once again and see and experience the magnification of all that takes place in yonder building. And you become more and more fulfilled of curiosity. And more do you delve to see the magnification of all taking place within that building. And you peer from window to window until you are absorbed by the images you see, until the magnification is all there is, and you have quite forgotten that you are on the bench across the street from the building that you are observing. And you see a book, and you see a television screen, and you see an information source, and it rivets your attention. And you see that there is information coming across this screen, and with all your desire, you wish to focus upon that information, for you know it will tell you many things. It will open up all that you have called secret, all that you have called occult, all that you have called hidden, and will be clear and applicable and precise. And all that matters to you now is the magnification of that screen, of that book, of that information. And you see it closer and closer and closer until it fills your vision, and closer and closer. And yet the words are still not distinct. So you magnify again and again and closer until it seems as if your very eyes, your very vision is simply moments away from the page, moments away from the screen, mere fractions and fragments of an inch away. And you become closer, and the words magnify. And finally, you can see them, you can read them, and the words simply say, turn around. And your vision scans around to look back out the window of the building, and lo and behold, there you are on the bench with a telescope, but your vision and your sight is now independently detached. You have expanded the bubble of your consciousness, and you are now roaming and roving as remote sense itself. You are now creating the reality with an expanded awareness, an expanded definition, by knowing that you can magnify and expand your reality in any way, shape, or form you wish. And you can explore the building with your vision alone, with the projection of your sense alone. And this gives you ecstasy and joy, and you roam and shoot at amazing speed through the building, absorbing all the knowledge, interacting with all the people, fascinated and curious by all that you see. And then you allow yourself to float or snap back to the focus of being on the bench. And you lower the glass. And the building no longer appears as just a building, but you understand it is your gateway to all knowledge, your gateway to all information. And that at any time using this symbol, using this tool, you can magnify its location to you. You can project your senses and be within that information, and allow that information to be within you. There is no effort required, but only the joy of desire and curiosity, only the fascination that turns the key and unlocks the lock to all doors. Only that is necessary. Magnify through the glass. Magnify all that you desire to know, and it will be yours. Bring it to you, and it will be yours, and you will know it. Magnify. Create these things of your own design. And now, as you sit on that bench, you look around to the trees of your own design, and the street of your own design, and the building of your own design, and they begin to shimmer like waves of heat in a mirage. And they shimmer and shimmer until they become transparent, and the only thing that seems solid is you upon the bench and the bench itself. All else begins to waver like waves of water and shimmer and dissolve and become transparent, as on the waves of heat of a hot day. With the light of the sun, the central star, beating down, the waves rise all around you, and you look around, and you look around, and you look around, and very soon you begin to see that there are other trees other than the ones of your own design, interposed as a mirage in between your own trees, and there are other buildings of other design interposed between the other building of your design. All is interbleeding, all is intermixing, and there are things moving through your reality, and you are seeing the specters of other people walking through your street, all walking through each other, overlapping, interacting, oblivious of each other, but you are not oblivious of all of them. And you are recognizing all the different illusions and all the different mirages that are the creations of all the different realities and projections. But where do these projections come from? And you look, and your curiosity and your fascination and your desire are overwhelming to peer further and further into the mirage, to see them overlapping and to see the source of all of these mirages, all of these projections. And you look, and behold, in between, a glimmer and a shimmer here and there, is another being on another bench, and over there another, and over there yet another still. And you feel the sensation of the prickling of your flesh, and the sureness of the electromagnetic vibration of knowingness that each and every one of those beings on each and every one of those benches is another you in another form. And you are all looking at yourselves, creating all these realities. And you are in a circle of self, a circle of benches. And you are knowing each other and seeing each other and acknowledging each other, and knowing that all of the yous on all of the benches are simply the projections of the true you, the interaction in between. All of the yous on all of the benches are simply the effects of the interaction of yourself with yourself over and over and over again. You are the event itself, the interaction itself that gives rise to all of the fragments of yourself that play observer. But you are not the observers as much as you are the observation itself, in which all realities and observers are contained. You are multidimensional. You are the holographic matrix. All that is. And you now know forever that you are never alone, that you are all one. And you nod, a nod of knowingness to all the other yous on all the other benches and all the other realities of all other designs, knowing that all the designs are within you, and that you are reflecting the whole, even as they reflect the whole back to you. And that you have the ability to expand the skin of the bubble of your consciousness to any realm, to any level, to any vibration by simply thinking of that idea, by simply manifesting a symbol of that idea, and by expressing the desire and the curiosity and the fascination to see between the veil of the mirage, the shimmering mirage of all realities, of all manifestations, of all expressions, of all that is. You are one. You are eternal. You are waves of light, reflections and refractions that create the mirage of your solid physical illusion. You are the dream, the dreams, the dreamed, the self-dreaming of all that is. Breathe into the dream. Breathe the reality of all the realities you are now experiencing as overlapping and intertwining and interconnecting. See them interact. All times, all spaces, forward, backward, up, down, left, right, in and out. All polarities are all one idea, and all things are the same one thing, manifesting in ecstatic explosions of all the multidimensional manifestations it simultaneously can manifest as. You are the fabric of consciousness itself, able to dissolve the mirage, because the mirage is made of you, of the fabric of the consciousness you are. You are. You are. Breathe. In ever-deepening spirals of electromagnetic awareness and sensitivity. Open up all the avenues and all the channels and all the gates and all the doors through which you are connected to all the other fragmented realities you have created yourself to be. Feel the rush of the energy as it vibrates and cascades through all of the openings of the idea you call your bodily form, your bodily consciousness. Feel the vibration of the oneness of your being as it settles into you. And feel the electromagnetic energy of activity, the vortex that you are, the transformational gate of the consciousness that you are. You are. You are. Be as one. Be as individual consciousness. Conviction. Action. Be. And all will be seen to be yours already. You are everywhere. You are every when. You are every one. We ride the waves of the fabric of existence together. We interblend and share our unconditional love. For remember this, love by definition, true love, is unconditional. Is, by definition, the pure vibration of dynamic transformational existence. The self-aware consciousness of all that is. That is your legacy. That is your birthright. That is your ecstasy. Be that vibration. Be that magnification. Be living light. Accelerate and ascend. Arise within yourselves and create the new heights to which you will aspire by being the vibration of inspiration. Inspire and share and serve. Love and light is what you are. Breathe 3 times and open your eyes if they are not already open. And once again know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are looking upon a new manifestation, a new reality, a new dimension, a new earth. You are not the same. You are not the same. You are not the same as you used to be. You are new printing on new pages of new books. Read the story you have decided to be. Be that story. our unconditional support, our unconditional love, our unconditional joy, our unconditional manifestation to you all. Be at ease for a moment.
The entity that you understand as Bashar has explained many times the idea of the vehicle, the vessel, the ship that is called the solar wind. You may address the idea of myself for now, for the moment, as a convenient label, as the captain. Allow us simply to extend to each and every one of you as individuals the challenge of matching the vibrations that you have been given. And to meet that challenge and arise to that challenge by matching those vibrations out of the energy of your own being. Be that challenge, walk that challenge, the conviction of that challenge, as your own ships, as your own realities, as you project yourselves into other dimensions and other frequencies of being, even as we in the city ship of the solar wind project into other dimensions and interact with other beings and other consciousnesses, to form the one association of worlds that together that we are, so that we may serve and be of benefit to you all. Serve and be of benefit to each other. We extend this challenge to you, to be the true members of the association of worlds by acting with the conviction that you know is your due, the conviction that you know is your right, and the service that you know it is in your terms your duty to perform. By supporting the whole, you will support yourselves. Have no fear of that. We extend this vibration and we extend this challenge, not as an idea of effort, not as an idea of struggle, not as an idea of demeanment of you, but we extend it as a challenge of joy, a challenge of growth, and a challenge of new horizons of exploration. We thank you for boarding the craft of your own beings and for the creation of your own craft that ascends to new heights and new realms and new dimensions of experience. We extend our greeting and we thank you. At this timing, allow yourselves now to know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that you are children of creation, that you are aspects of the eternal beingness of all that is. We cannot share this reflection with you enough. Whatever will trigger, whatever will catalyze, whatever will crystallize this understanding of action, this understanding of conviction within you, let it happen. Allow it to happen. For you will know joy as you have not experienced for millennium. Allow yourself to dive into that experience. Do not fear. Remember, there is nothing you will ever discover, nothing you will ever experience about yourself that cannot be applied in an ecstatic way. Choose through conviction. Choose through clarity the reality you desire. Live it, be it, and manifest the world that you want. Remember that abundance is simply the ability to be what you want to be when you decide to be it. Our love to you all, our joy to you all, and our thanks and gratitude to you all for the co-creation. And remember, if you feel the tears of release at any time, those truly are prayers of identification with all that is. Gratitude is the final key. Share from all the treasures you have been given, from all the gifts that you have, and the gifts that you are. We thank you for allowing us to share with you. And remember, one of the greatest gifts that you can give is to allow others to give to you. Love yourselves. Love all that is. And all will flow as one. It is a promise. It is a guarantee. We thank you, our love, and for your inspiration, our gratitude. You inspire us to be ourselves by interacting with you. We only choose to cherish that we may inspire you in return. Shivai, good day. How did it go?